Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Whitney and welcome to my little corner of the internet. Today we're discussing Love Island, episode 32, season 7. Grab your snacks, grab your drink, and let's just dive into this episode. Let's go. So the episode opens up and we have Amaya and Bryan. We got hot tub, we got whipped cream, we got romance, we got rom-com. They were enjoying themselves. Their chemistry is clearly there. I love to see Amaya being playful. She had confident energy. They both had good chemistry, but it didn't come across as like icky and cringy, like it was being forced. I love that she was comfortable. He was very respectful. And this is exactly what I wanted from my Amaya Papaya. It crossed my mind like, dang, what are their parents thinking? Awkward. Clarke and Taylor, they're in the speakeasy, spending some time with each other. Clarke brings up, you ever thought about your future wedding? Taylor's like, listen, yes. And not only have I thought about it, he wants everybody to wear a cowboy hat. He wants them to be monogrammed. Like, he thought about this. He mentioned in his confessional that he's thinking about closing it off with Clarke, and he feels like he's known her for years. And I'm like, I think it's genuine. I think he genuinely likes her, but also I feel that people are moving quickly because the show is about to end. They're trying to seal the deal for that perfect edit at the end. He then asks her, do you want a wedding? Some girls don't want a wedding nowadays. They want to go to the courthouse. Clarke was like, not me. Oh no, I'm having a big wedding. And it's going to be extravagant. And I'm like, I know that's right. But you know, everybody's situation is different. Can't judge. But I thought it was cute. Then he asked her, what's your color scheme? My Clarke took 5 to 7 business days to answer that question. She was like, light pink. I'm like, girl, are the lights on inside? They're on. I think she's tired. She's sleepy. She's not a morning girl. They're keeping her up late. My girl, she can't get her thoughts out quicker, you know? So my main takeaway from this scene is that Taylor's invested. He's invested. He doesn't only see her as someone that he wants to be with in the villa, but definitely on the outside as well. But let's see how that pans out, because I don't know if Clarke about that rodeo life, cows, chicken, horses. I think he got 6 of them. So maybe 4. I don't know. But yeah, let's see how that goes. Then we go over to Chris and Huda, and we can already see the cracks are showing. Huda asks Chris, why is he quiet? He's been giving very brief, short answers. He's like, I'm in a mood. I'm just mellow. And I'm like, okay, sir. He's clearly annoyed from the other day with Huda being bossy about the yoga and her being feeling triggered. But you can tell there's more on the surface than he's letting on. She continues to probe. He gives very vague reassurances saying, I still feel the same about you. Huda says, oh, you like me. He replies, I like you a lot. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Then it gets worse. They have this exchange of a joke talking about vomiting. And I don't want to get into that. If you know, you know. She tells him, don't you ever say that. That honestly would have been my response. Like, that's gross. Then he pikes back. He said, don't you ever tell me what to say. Don't do that to me. And she claps back and she's like, well, I did. And I'm just like, and I thought to myself, oh, brother, he's checked out. I'm just confused by these two weirdos. The incompatibility, it's becoming undeniable in this moment. Like, why are they still in the villa? Why? But there goes Chris again, using his charm and his way of words to really get out of saying how he really feels. And I feel like that is very manipulative. It's like that fake niceness, being sweet because you're avoiding conflict with her. Is she somebody that's combative? Absolutely. But is it fair to her? No. So I just feel like both of them are just, it's a match made in hell. We lost the plot. Like, how is Huda supposed to address real issues if he's performing this fake act? And I'm going to be very honest. Did I like Chris in the beginning with Shelly? Yes. But when they were in Casa and he was doing all that sweet talk, I just kept my one good eye on him. And I'm just like, I'm not sold on him. And I'm glad I stuck to my instinct, because what do we have here now? So everybody's getting ready for bed. Amaya and Bryan, they're doing their thing in the hideaway. They make a joke about making a real baby. That's not Elijah, their fake baby. And I'm like, hey, be careful for what you wish for. So the boys are in their corridors getting ready for bed, and Chris confides in Nic, sharing his grievances about Huda only kisses him in private. So I was like, oh, honey. Okay, so that's the real reason. Okay, you're annoyed by the other stuff about her just being overly critical, but I'm like, oh, that just adds on a new layer. Then he said that outside of the challenges and when they were in the speakeasy, Huda never kissed him. And I'm like, this is so weird. And I was like, Huda, Chris, Huda, don't make me feel bad for this man. And I'm definitely going to have no sympathy for you. I low-key felt bad for him in that moment, because for him to share this information that's a bit embarrassing, for him as a man especially to share this information, just being vulnerable and opening up that your partner is not being 100% with you, intimate in public, yikes. It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and he's visibly hurt. Does he need to have the conversation with her? Yes, but it's going to happen. As the boys are laying down for bed, Pepe makes this comment saying that he didn't think he was going to get close to anybody. I think he was referring to Iris or maybe Hannah or both. I'm not sure. Ace agrees. And I just thought to myself, why do these people come on Love Island and not want to experience love? Can we just get the avoidance out the building, get the influencers, like get them out, get them out. So now it's the top of the morning. We see Ace doing his one good move, his little, I know he's a dancer, but he loves his little Magic Mike dance move that he keeps doing. Of course, the boys make their breakfast, the same thing. And I feel like this is when like the viewers, the audience were like micromanaging, like, okay, who brings who? Okay, that person got coffee. Did this person get breakfast? I don't know why they force us to watch that every single day. But it was cute when Ace came in. He gave Shelly her flowers and breakfast. As much as we want to get on Ace for episodes 1 through 18, he has been the most chivalrous guy in this villa. Nobody else compares. We can never take it away from Ace. The way that he shows up and he shows his affection and he makes Shelly feel special to the point where he encouraged the other guys to do something for the other girls. Did Nic ever do anything for Sierra? Did Pepe ever do anything for Hannah or Iris? Nah. But then again, it depends on the type of girl. I know Shelly did say early on that she likes attention, so he knows his lady. And one other quick thought I had is, I know that Ace and Shelly did not go to the hideaway, but my biggest question is, why haven't the producers sent them off on an independent date outside the villa? Huda and Jeremiah, even with all their red flags, they had a chance to go. But to be fair, I think that's when Ace was doing that ping pong with Amaya and, whatever the case is. But Sierra and Nic had a chance to go. And I think that out of all the couples here, the only couple that makes sense to me is for Ace and Shelly to go. They're the only real couple in the villa. Outside of Clarke and Taylor, I'm going to give credit where it's due. I suspect that's the only reason why Ace hasn't asked Shelly to be closed off yet. I think he's waiting for a grand gesture to go outside the villa and use that opportunity. Similar to like what Jeremiah and what Nic did. They use it as an opportunity. Actually, never closed it off. Similar to what Nic did with Sierra. So I don't know. I just feel like he had a redemption arc, okay? The redemption arc has been completed. Leave Ace alone. Just leave him alone. Please, just be fair to him. Be fair. So back at the hideaway, Amaya and Bryan, they're out enjoying the sun. She calls Bryan her best friend. He says, two misunderstood people can understand each other. And I'm like, what? I'm like, Amaya, relax, please. Maybe I'm old school. Names and have meaning to me. But I'm like, girl, too much too soon. Just relax. The scene was cute, but I'm going to continue to say it. Amaya gives me YA Disney princess gone bad. Like, nobody can tell me any different. Amaya and Bryan, they come back. Everybody's just embracing them. The boys are excited. She's having girl chat. She says she's went on many journeys. And Olandria's like, how many journeys you went on? Olandria's like, listen, just skip all that cute stuff. Get to the facts. Let us know. What's the real deal? Let's go. Let's go. She lets the girls know that she is very appreciative for them voting her in. I'm just thankful that they didn't send Ace and Shelly, because I was going to be stressed for Shelly's mom. Not on that lady's watch. A text comes through with an announcement that the boys are leaving the villa to enjoy a basketball game, a 3-on-3 match. So on one team, we have Taylor, Nic, and Chris. The other team is Bryan, Pepe, and Ace. And of course, Pepe and Chris, they are pro basketball players. And I'm like, all right, this is your time to shine. This segment was really funny. Everybody was enjoying themselves. I really wish that they allowed them to leave the villa more. I think on the day that they don't film, I believe they let them go down to the beach or leave the villa. Again, this was something that I heard in an interview from a previous Islander. I don't know if things changed now, especially with the popularity of the show. But also next, I want to see the girls leave the villa. And did y'all catch the shade of Pepe saying that there's a reason somebody played pro and why somebody else didn't? I was like, Pepe, oh. So that was a little cute moment. Chris, Taylor, and Nic, they end up winning. Girls are back at the villa. They're playing a would you rather game just to kind of keep themselves entertained. Set the girls free. Give them some time to leave the villa. So after the boys are finished playing basketball, they have the little pep talk, a little debrief. Nic feels that everything that went wrong might have just led him back to Olandria. Of course, he's always been attracted to her, but the emotional side is growing as well. He just wants them to take their time and do it together. Then he says at this point, he's all about taking care of her to the best of his ability. And I was like, I know that's right. I love that. I love that. And not to get all rom-commy, I'm not a rommy-commy type of girl, but I love the fact that he's expressing this in front of Taylor. And little does Olandria know, she doesn't know that someone's speaking of her so highly without her being there. And that's a true test when how somebody speaks and how they act when you're not in the room. Despite whatever happens between Nic and Olandria, at least when Olandria watches this back, she can see this is how a man professes how he wants to commit to you. He wants to protect this. He wants to nurture this bond that he has with you. So, and to do it in front of Taylor, chef's kiss. Taylor chimes in. Nobody asks him. Taylor's like, yeah, just keep doing little things for her. Taylor, you had to be reminded to do things for her. I guess he had something to say. Then Nic is like, look, I have to make sure she has the crispy edge on her pancake. When I say I screamed, I hollered, I cackled, because I am a crispy edge pancake girl. When I say that hit, and I felt so seen in that moment, I love this for them. Don't let me down, Nic Olandria. Don't, especially Olandria, please, don't let me down. Do you guys know how hard it is to get people to understand that you like crispy edges on your pancake? Do you know how defeating it is? And I'm not even someone that when I go have brunch, I'm picky. I'm not even a picky person, okay? But when I go to brunch and I'm like, let me try to throw in there for crispy edges, and I just and they bring me back a thick pancake, just ladies, find someone that's gonna give you a crispy edge pancake. Anyways, I know we talking about crispy edge pancakes, but to me that's love language. He acknowledged that she likes her pancakes crispy with a crispy edge. That means he listened, he remembered, and he followed through. Not because he was being performative, it's because he wanted to. Simple as that. That's it. That made me so happy. Then we go back to the villa. We have our failed PPGs. Shelly, Huda, and Olandria, they're just, having girl talk. Olandria finally admits that her guilt is fading away about her connection. She's wondering if this can be a friends to lovers type situation. She didn't think the end of her journey would look like this, but she's happy. And I'm like, yes, I need you to lock in, girl. Stay like this, okay? Stay like this. I just got to read this part. Huda lets us know that she feels good about Chris. She feels good about Chris. And the favorite thing about their couple is that they communicate so well. She said, I'll communicate something and it's not an argument. He'll just be like, okay, I'll make sure I'll do that for you. Okay, no problem. She feels calmer being with him. So essentially, she thinks their communication is great, that they don't argue. Oh my God. She says in her confessional, she doesn't feel judged by Chris. She has a lot of anxiety from previous relationships, and with Chris, it just feels easy. Then she's just reminding herself, she's coaching herself for her to not mess this up. And I thought to myself, it's just two things happening. She has zero self-awareness. He's just trying to make it to the end of the challenge. He's just trying to see if he can touch the 50K. Girl, please, Huda, please, free us. Free us. So the boys are still having their post-basketball powwow. Chris confesses and shares with the boys that Huda is combative and defensive. From being in this experience, he is learning that if something bothers him, he has to say it. Being avoidant is not the answer. And I was like, yes, Chris. Yes, good job. He said that he wants to be heard and it's time to speak his mind. And I could not agree more. The boys encourage him. And I hope he lands the plane. Don't charm your way out of this. Just be free. Taylor expresses to the guys how he feels about Clarke. He loves being around her 24/7. Then he said something that made my ears perk up a little bit. It was quick. He said, the fact that he can see Clarke fitting into his family quite perfectly in the outside world, I was like, ooh, that's deep. And I'm going to get to it. Then he continues to say he wants to close things off. Tonight's going to be the night. He wants to do something special since he's a cheerleader, do a cheer choreography. I thought that was cute. And I was like, damn, we're getting a lot of Taylor scenes. You might be going home, buddy. I know how these edits work. I have been watching reality TV for a very long time. I have been watching scripted TV and movies for a very long time. I know how this works. You cannot trick me. So going back quickly to that comment about Taylor saying that he can spark part of his family at family dinners, that just lets me know he never saw it for Olandria. When a man talks about bringing someone home, he just sees alignment. He sees her aligning into his life with his family. He sees the potential for her. He could have saw the potential with Olandria, but he sees the place for Clarke. And that's the difference. And I'm like, and I hope this teaches a lot of people, especially young girls watching, that you don't have to teach anybody how to show up for you. You don't have to decode. You don't have to beg. You don't have to demystify. You don't have to investigate. He's just going to show up. And that's it. The boys come back from their basketball game. They're fake limping. The girls already know that they're playing. Everybody's saying, hey, I missed you. I missed you. Nic is like, do you miss me? And Olandria's like, yeah. She didn't even have a chance to really express herself because everybody made it awkward by looking at her. You can't make the awkward person in a group feel more awkward. Like, come on, y'all. I know she frees. I know my girl's a little awkward, but Olandria, I'm gonna need you to loosen up. That 50K is around the corner. Olandria, if you're not gonna work, and especially if you're not gonna work for your hive, it's gonna be Shelly or Ace or Amaya and Papaya. That's it. Because, girl, stop playing. So, everybody's getting cute. They're getting ready for the night. Put on their cologne, lashes, whatever. Taylor is rehearsing with the guys this surprise exclusive proposal. We hear Clarke say that long distance won't be an issue since she is in North Carolina, he's in Oklahoma. And I was like, oh, they getting a lot of camera time. Huda says her and Chris haven't talked about life on the outside. And I'm just like, what do y'all talk about? Exactly. So everybody comes downstairs. Taylor kicks off a toast in honor of his friendship. And then he runs off, and so he signals to the boys. It's time for them to perform their routine. They awkwardly, they spell out Clarke. Was there an E? Nah. It got the job done. Taylor asked Clarke to be exclusive. She said yes. Clarke said yes. She was ecstatic. She was happy. I can tell this definitely warmed her heart. And I thought that was a very sweet gesture for the guys to get involved. I thought this was a great moment for Clarke. She has been sweet girl, very unproblematic, caused no issue. Yes, the issue was really between Taylor and Olandria. It had nothing to do with her. She did her job as a Costa girl, and she was just a casualty and got whacked many times because of Taylor. But it was really nice to see her get celebrated in that moment. It was a good send-off, but we'll find out who's going home. But It's no surprise. It was a little awkward to see Olandria just front row clapping, but she handled it well. She just smiled, she clapped. Imagine if that was Huda. Remember when Jeremiah partnered up with Iris and they all came downstairs and they did their toast? All Jeremiah did was pull the chair out for Iris. It just sent Huda on crying and wailing and whew. Olandria, I respect you, girl. I respect you. So then we go to Feel Goods to Train Crash. Chris decides he wants to confront Huda. Man, this scene was painful to watch. He finally speaks up and asks Huda, why won't you kiss me in public? But she is fine with sleeping with him behind closed doors. And I say, yikes. Then Chris is like, so do you remember what happened yesterday when I asked for a kiss? She's like, yeah, I looked around. Oh, so you know what you did. Huda says that she's not ready to kiss in front of people. PDA makes her feel uncomfortable. Are you confused? Because I'm confused. He's just trying to let her know, okay, you won't kiss me in public, but you're intimate with me in private. What's the deal? Instead of hearing him out, she gets defensive, keeps cutting him off mid-sentence. She then says, okay, fine, like I'll stop kissing you in the bedroom. And I'm like, oh my God, girl, you're missing the point. It's difficult to share with someone you're supposed to be coupled up with in front of America. And it's like, hey, why is it that you act one way with me in front of other people, but when we're together, actually, no, they're not even together because they're laying in bed next to everybody else. So her rationale is confusing me. Huda then expresses that she's been through a lot in the villa and she wants to move slower. I'm like, wow, this girl stays lying to herself. The night before her and Chris got intimate, she said that she wants to do things differently. Next day, didn't. Then Chris is like, what's the point of us being intimate? And I'm like, that's a good question. Did they resolve anything? Absolutely not. She storms off. That's the end of the conversation. Everybody witnessed it. Bryan comes over to offer him support. Chris tells Bryan, look, I can't do this anymore. He's done. He said that every time he tries to explain himself, he's just confused. He doesn't understand her way of thinking. And he doesn't think that they'll ever get to the place that they need to be. In that moment, I understood exactly what he was saying. I could understand his frustration. And in the beginning, he was giving mixed signals. Now she's giving the mixed signals back. And I feel that immediately when she knew that he was going to share his grievances and his concerns, she didn't want to have that conversation. Once she's put in a hot seat for her behavior and her reaction, she can't take it. She needs to have control of the conversation and the narrative. So what does she do? Walk off, because her walking off is her way of controlling it. Okay, now you don't have a say so because I'm not in the conversation anymore. But also to Chris, he has been tolerating red flags from her. He acknowledged early on that there might be some emotional instability. And what confuses me even more is when she has conversations talking about, yeah, I see life on the outside. And I'm just like, the self-awareness is not in the room with us. It's gone. Chris is at his wit's end. He confides in Amaya. Amaya gives him that reassurance that he's not tripping. She validates his confusion. He has a right to express how he feels. I do appreciate he doesn't know if she's embarrassed or something. Amaya's like, look, like she's emotional. She's going through a lot. She might be in defensive mode. Maybe she's trying to protect herself. We honestly really don't know. And I said, look at that. Shelly has been the therapist for such a long time. Shelly was the main therapist. But I'm like, thanks God. And I was like, look at Amaya taking that therapist hat. Then we go to this next conversation. Nic and Olandria, they're just reflecting on Clarke and Taylor. To be fair, Nic is the one that asked her that question. I don't think Nic meant it in a weird way. I think Nic always asks random questions. Then she starts rationalizing why her and Clarke wouldn't have worked in the real world because they're long distance. She's in Alabama. He's in Oklahoma. He's in vet school. But she's happy for him and she's happy things work out. And I'm like, why are we talking about this? Nic, don't bring up these conversations. Don't ask any of these questions. Steer her on the right path. Steer our girl on the right path. Stand on business, please. To be honest with you, I'm just going to believe it was very strange editing. Maybe perhaps they already had a conversation and they chose to put that part in. I'm just going to believe that just to make me feel better. Amaya pulls Huda for a chat like, listen, girl, what's going on here? What's going on between you and Chris? In this moment, you can tell Amaya is trying her absolute best to try to get Huda to understand her feelings. I can sense that Amaya wanted to go a little harder on her probing questions and why are you doing, like how to, like she's trying to find the justification in her reasoning, but Huda's trying to dodge accountability. And I think Amaya peaked game and she's just like, I'm not dealing with this. We're going to be as surface as we can tonight. Then she gets emotional. She says that she feels that she's letting him down. And I'm like, girl, stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to us. Because when he did try to express himself, you could have used that moment to let him know that, hey, I apologize. I'm sorry I made you feel that way. What is it that I need to do? What did you do? You just ran away. You cut him off and you ran away. So I'm like, please. Showtime. There is going to be a dumping tonight. One couple is going home. The couples that end up being safe are Amaya and Bryan, and the third couple, Iris and Pepe. And I was just like, oh God. This is the same couple where they can barely give us good scenes of any dialogue. Iris and Pepe, I'm just like, the Facebook moms got them on lock. It has to be. The bottom three are Chris and Huda, Taylor and Clarke, Nic and Olandria. Who are they calling next? Chris and Huda. They're safe. So now we're down to Nic and Olandria and Taylor and Clarke. And I was like, this was done on purpose. And did you guys catch when Chris sat down with a straight face, no emotion? Chris was like, I don't care about this 50K anymore. I want to go home. It's not worth it anymore. I'm sorry. So the last text message comes in. Unfortunately, Taylor and Clarke, they're dumped for the island. They got to go home. And to see Taylor and Clarke just hug each other and just embrace each other in that moment, y'all, I genuinely felt bad. I was like, damn. To see Huda and Chris and then Iris and Pepe have a place and they don't, that's not fair. That's not right. I was genuinely disappointed. We can look at Taylor and Clarke and look at their situation for what it is and just leave Olandria out of it. Let's not even think about Taylor and Olandria and the past. Let's just focus on Taylor and Clarke. He did show up for her. He did show his affection. He was visibly different. He was smitten by her. And I honestly feel like the wrong couple left. Like, what is Iris and Pepe giving us? This was stupid. I don't have anything nice to say. Honestly, I don't have any words. I am just lost for words. Did I see it coming? Yes. There was a lot of foreshadowing. But also, if we look at Taylor and the work and the action, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Love Island. I'm confused. So, you know, the guys, the Three Stooges, they are rallying around their brother Taylor. You know, they're sad to see him go. And it was really sad to see Ace get emotional because that's his boy. You know, the Three Stooges, the Three Musketeers, their group is slowly going to disintegrate. And I don't know who's going to go home next. So my outro footage just disappeared into the abyss. But yeah, guys, that's a wrap on episode 32. It was bittersweet. And yeah, we're just going to see how this cookie crumbles. I thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.